This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
If you've been wanting to learn about generative AI and you don't know where to start, this might be it. We are celebrating today 100 episodes of Everyday AI. I can't thank you enough. This episode is for all of you who have supported this show, who have shared it with your friends, who come every single weekday morning to participate and to connect, and so we can all grow together. So this 100th episode is a gift to you all, but it's also, I think, a great starting point. If you're new to generative AI, maybe this is the first show that you've listened to. Maybe if you're joining us live on LinkedIn or YouTube, maybe this is the first time, and thank you for that. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to check the show notes. We're going to have a ton of different resources. But if this is your first time, thank you. And we're going to go over some of my favorite episodes out of the 100 that we've done. So if you are looking to just learn about generative AI, it's actually a great episode to do that. And it's a great time to get in questions because we're going to be going over some of our favorites. I can't wait. Hey, I should probably introduce myself, right? My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the host of Everyday AI. This is your daily live stream podcast, free daily newsletter. Don't forget about the free daily newsletter, right? Are any of you guys subscribe to that? But this is to help all of us better learn and leverage artificial intelligence. All right. I can't wait. Actually, before we dive in, I'm going to do a super quick overview of the news. But I want to know how many episodes have you listened to? I'm curious. Is this your first? Let me know. Actually, if it's your first, shout out. Let me know if this is your first episode. Have you listened to 5, 10, 20 episodes? I'm probably the only one that's listened to all 100, but let me know how many you've listened to. All right, before we get into, I'd say almost a little presentation that we have going. Before that, let's go over the AI news. We do this every day. I'm going to keep it brief today, but lawmakers and others are continuing to meet in Washington, D.C. So Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk are meeting lawmakers in Washington as the U.S. Senate continues to try to work towards generative AI. Kind of adherence and regulations. Again, y'all have heard my hot take. Don't think anything's going on there. Next big piece of news, Stability Audio is coming out. So Stability AI is kind of known for their text-to-image software, but they are, I believe, probably the first big player that has made that is making text-to-audio available. So being able to create music with text is great. There's other great platforms, that do text to speech, text to music. A lot of them aren't publicly available yet. So Stability Audio should be pretty exciting to see. Last but not least, there's a big Apple announcement yesterday, but they skipped generative AI. I don't know if that's why their stock went down. Maybe people just weren't, overly impressed with the new iPhone. What is it? The new iPhone 15 that was released, but they kind of skipped generative AI altogether. Not that anyone was expecting the announcement of the GPT rival, the Apple Ajax, or anything like that, but they did kind of focus on some general AI improvements for features like making phone calls better, better photos, things like that. All right, so super fast overview of the news. Normally I go a little bit deeper, but again, make sure you go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for that free daily newsletter. We're going to actually be unveiling a new website, little updated website here soon, but that shouldn't stop you from going right now if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter. Hopefully y'all like it. We put a lot of work into it. Do any of you guys join in here, read the newsletter? Do any of you like it? I'm thirsty this morning. I gotta get caffeined up. I gotta get the water in. This is gonna be a fast and furious show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hey, Woozy said he's listened to 30-ish shows. That's awesome. Ahmed joining us from LinkedIn, almost 100. No way. That's wild. That's wild. Thank you for joining us. Some of our regular AI enthusiasts. Nancy, thank you for joining us. Bronwyn, great to have you as always. Dr. Muthana saying congratulations. Rodriguez saying this is definitely the best consistent show ever. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. So many people here in the comments. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Maybrit says 100. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybrit's been one of our most loyal listeners from the beginning. That's awesome. If you've listened to all 100, I never thought that people would listen to every single episode. I thought that, hey, maybe you subscribe and follow. And if you haven't done that yet, make sure you go subscribe. Follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Leave us a rating if you can. Tell others about it. But I never thought that, when I started the show, that it would be something that someone would listen to every day. I thought you might, scroll through and, listen to ones that are relevant. So the fact that a lot of people here have listened to almost all of them, Brian said, I believe nearly or all 100. That's amazing. Monica says almost 100. Brian around 50 or so. Awesome. The newsletter address. Thank you, Brian. It's the website. So it's youreverydayai.com. All right. Let's see if we can get this going. I'm excited. Got a lot in store. We have some announcements. I'm going to give some behind the scenes of what's going on at Everyday AI. There's just so much to go over, sharing some of my favorite episodes, which I'm extremely excited about. And I have to be very transparent with you guys. This was hard. I thought I was going to, wrap up kind of a preparation for this episode, last night at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I was up way past midnight working on this because it was that hard to pick my favorite episodes. It's almost like if you have 5 children and someone's saying, pick your favorite, because we've had so many amazing guests that have shared their expertise, which is why I think, we're building a strong community here, is because we have some of the brightest minds out there and just everyday people, right? So yes, we bring on experts. We've had great guests, former and current executives from places like Spotify, Pinterest, Microsoft, IBM. So we have some of the brightest minds in generative AI sharing with us, but then we also have everyday people, because that's ultimately who this show is for. So, we have small business owners, entrepreneurs, freelancers, coming in and sharing the best. So it was very hard to pick kind of favorite 10 episodes, but let's go ahead. Let's get to it. I'm excited. But first, I said there would be some surprise giveaways. So I'm going to start with it and say this. We are having a 5-day giveaway, right? And if you've been around Everyday AI for a while, we do giveaways here and there. We've given away like a year of ChatGPT. We've given away a lot of, as an example, ChatGPT consulting sessions. It's mainly been based a lot around ChatGPT, but this is different. I'm going to go ahead and let you know real quick what this giveaway even is. So the surprise giveaway is we are doing 10 generative AI strategy sessions. All right. So what is that? Well, it is for those of you, whether you have a small business, a large business, and you're not sure how to integrate generative AI into your daily workflow. You're not sure how you can use generative AI to improve your business. This is for you. This giveaway is for you. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to we have this giveaway, and it's going to be secret unless you share this post. So if you share this post, I'm going to send you the link to the contest. Everyone else will get the link on Friday. So if you share this post, you are going to have a huge head start, and you're going to put yourself or your company an almost unfair advantage to win this, but it's going to go out to everyone else in the newsletter on Friday. All right, so share this post. I have to make sure, so I don't know, people's visibility settings, whatever, but I'm going to go through on it. I'm going to see who reposts this, and I'm going to send you the link now. And essentially, this is a kind of a standard referral contest, but you're going to get a head start. And it's only going for 5 days. So in this session, we're going to have you fill out an onboarding form, and we're going to see how you or your company is currently using generative AI, maybe how you're struggling with generative AI. Our team's going to take a look at it, and we're going to have a quick 30-minute onboarding call to ask questions. And then our team is going to build you a strategy based on how your company can use generative AI. So maybe it's using a large language model like Google Bard, like Anthropic's Cloud, like ChatGPT with plugins. Maybe it's more focused on just setting a policy on how you can ethically use AI. Or maybe it's helping you create images and giving you a walkthrough in Midjourney. Whatever it is bespoke. It is custom to your business, right? I've been using even like the GPT technology. I've been using it since 2020. Our team has used hundreds of AI softwares. I talk about it all day with some of the brightest and best minds in the game, like I already talked about. So I always feel bad because people always ask me, "Hey, can you help me with this project? Can you help me with this?" And I don't, I haven't been charging anyone anything. So it's hard for me to do this. So this is the way that if you want some feedback, if you want help incorporating generative AI, go ahead. Hit that repost. All right, enough of that. That's the giveaway. But I want to do a quick overview if you are new to the show. So why did I start Everyday AI? And what has the reception been so far? Well, like I said, we started using GPT tools in 2020. And kind of once ChatGPT came out, we saw a lot of bad advice out there. And I also noticed, I even wanted to learn more. And one thing I realized that ongoing generative AI education was only geared to people highly technical, people like myself, right? But I'm a dork. But I thought, how can everyone else learn generative AI? It's not as easy as it sounds. I have a background in journalism, and I think, hey, I can understand things. I understand generative AI. I can tell stories. I can talk with people. So that's why we started Everyday AI. So I want to talk quickly about what the reception has been so far, because it's actually been crazy. It's been crazy. And again, thank you with the comments. Michael, our guest in from yesterday, saying coming with fire. Michael, if you think I'm coming with fire now, just wait. I'm coming in with hot takes. And actually, right now, I'm going to ask everyone if you're joining live. Everyone, if you're joining live, think of your hottest question on generative AI. I'm gonna throw it up here in a second, but thank you for that. But if you're joining us, thank you for the comments. All right. So, what has the reception been so far? It's been wild, actually. So, a great testimonial. I have hundreds of testimonials like this. This one from Adrian. Just, he took our PPP class, which, yes, I'm going to be announcing the dates today for our pro course, 2 dates later in September. So make sure you check your email if you've taken our free Prime Prompt Polish course. We have our also free PPP pro course. Dates getting announced later today. So check your email. Thank you for your patience on that. But Adrian said, I thought I was using OpenAI correctly. I was not in any way. I took the PPP class yesterday and have since purchased an account. Later on, he goes on to say, I feel like I am actually using AI for the first time. Absolutely brilliant class, right? I don't want to bore you and put up, literally, we've had hundreds of testimonials and pieces of feedback from people, whether they're listening to the podcast, watching the show, taking our course, reading the newsletter. The reception has been amazing. And I think that's why this thing is growing, right? I thought it would have been cool if we had a top 100 podcast for for our 100th episode. But these rankings change all the time. But I just wanted to show you guys. And this is thanks to your support. And that's why we're doing this giveaway. That's why this show is for you. Because the fact that, and these kind of, quote unquote rankings change all the time. But, last night when I checked at, 6:08 p.m. there, I got the screenshot. We were the 108th ranked tech podcast. And you might be saying, Jordan, okay, what's the big deal? Right? That doesn't happen for a brand new podcast to consistently go, in the top 150. And these change all day. I'm sure we're, 120 or 150 or something right now. But, last night when I checked, look at some of the best podcasts I've listened to for many years, as an example, you have the Behind the Tech podcast from Microsoft ranked at 120. You have Google's podcast ranked there at whatever that is, 126, right? There's 89,000 tech podcasts. And the fact that we're consistently, in the top 150, top 120, that normally takes many years, or it's when a huge company starts a tech podcast. So thank you for that support. But I just want, because people always ask me, hey, how has it been? And I'm not one to, share a lot about this kind of stuff, but I'm kind of, lifting the curtain up a little bit today. So the reception has been amazing. And thank you for that. So hey, stats. Here's some stats. So right now, nearly 4,000 monthly unique users to our website. That's unique users, right? More than 7,300 people on our daily newsletter. All right. And then we also have about 8,000 weekly podcast listeners. That's a lot, right? So again, we live in the age of these vanity statistics, right? And I'm never one to get caught up, but I'm sharing this with you for a reason, right? That's coming here in a second too. But it's thanks to your support. It's really hard to grow an active podcast or live stream audience. It's hard to grow a daily newsletter. So I just wanted to share that with you all and thank you for your support. But also, if you want to get in front of this audience, let me know. We're going to be doing, I think we'll eventually be taking on advertisers. We haven't really done that so far, but if you want to get in front of the audience, let me know, but also for free. All right. We're going to be launching a little system in our newsletter next week. So keep your eye out. So if you have a great, free product that you put out, if you want people to know, if you have a ChatGPT plugin, if you have a new video series educating people on generative AI, if you just have a cool AI product that you put together, piece of software, I get dozens of these people reaching out to me every week, and I can't showcase them all. But now we have a big, growing, enthusiastic audience. Now I think is a good time. So we'll be sharing about that in the newsletter next week. So make sure you sign up, youreverydayai.com, if you want to get in front of that audience. But I think right now we have the strongest community of AI enthusiasts who are meeting daily live, right? I get cool messages all the time from, loyal listeners. And, we have people that have met in the comments of our show and are now working on generative AI products together, right? Which is amazing, right? I checked the kind of RSVP list for this morning, and you can probably already see in the comments so far. There's people watching us live right now, at least according to the LinkedIn attendance and who's showing. Executives from Microsoft, IBM, I think Google, and handfuls of other Fortune 500 companies are watching right now, right? So go ahead, put in the comments, what are you working on? Because people are watching, and we are building a community here in the comments. Tell me what you're working on so other people can see it as well. All right. And then Michael, you said I was bringing the fire. I'm going to do something that I normally only do with family and close friends, but y'all have become a type of family for me, right? The everyday AIers. I'm going to play something called Right Answers Only at the end. So get in your questions. So many times on this show, I come off, I'm not saying like politically correct, but I have to kind of come middle of the road, right? I don't want to offend anyone necessarily. Sometimes I don't want to come in with too hot of takes. So I do something with friends and family where I say right answers only, right? Where it's like, hey, get your hard hat on. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this. I'm gonna cut it to you straight. All right. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Get your questions in at the end. I'm gonna try to grab as many as I can, and I'm gonna give you the right answer only. Will AI take over jobs? is ChatGPT better than human writers, right? What's your big question? I'm going to get to it, but this is a lot. This is a lot. I can't wait. Here we go. Top episodes. And again, these aren't necessarily, I just want to put it out there. I don't want to offend anyone. All of my guests have been amazing. I don't think I've ever had a bad guest on the show. You know, after 100 shows, I don't think that's possible. And let me know in the comments who's been your favorite guest. I want to know. But also what I did is I did these kind of by categories, right? Because I've had great guests talk about ChatGPT, right? But I didn't want to have 10 of those. I've had great guests talk about Midjourney. So I did categories, and even then it was hard. All right? So here we go. Here's my favorite episodes by category. Storytelling. Oh, so good. So good. This was just Monday. I don't know if it's recency bias, but some of my most favorite episodes have happened in the last week or so. So this was the art of storytelling experience from a former Microsoft AI ambassador with Doug Thompson. Doug, not sure if you're joining us, but shout out if you are. One of my favorite episodes by far. This is the former journalist in me, Doug talking about, his storytelling background. Amazing. And I'm going to also, if you're listening on the podcast, I do have some slides up. I'm going to do my best to kind of describe what's going on, but we pull a quote from each of these, and I'm going to come in with a hot take from each of these episodes as well. So here's what Doug said on how to tell an impactful story. He said, the story is not about you. It's about the listener. You're taking them on a journey. They're investing their time with you. They want something out of that. That's the best story. It's the one that's not about me. It's simply the vehicle of which the story is told. All right. I should mention as well, this slide on the screen here, I have it in a PDF, and all of these are going to be linked. So you can just in this PDF, you can just click it and then just go listen to the episode, which is pretty cool. So just put PDF in the comments, just put the word PDF, and I'll send this to you. So if you want this, I'll send it to you at the end. So just go ahead and put that in the comments. All right. So here's my hot take. I'm going to give my hot take on each of these things. So with AI and storytelling, here's my hot take. Garbage content will take over the internet world. I think it's already started to, if I'm being honest. The problem with traditional content creation is you would generally only publish something as a content creator if you were good at it, somewhat good at it, right? But now generative AI has made it so easy for people who aren't good at telling stories or who aren't good at creating content to create mediocre content. And it is taking over the internet. It is. And just wait. I've talked about this on the show before. I could talk about this for hours. As consumers, generative AI is going to change everything about how we respond to advertisers, how we respond to emails, how we respond to social media, because we are getting hit with not just bad content more than ever before, but actually now good content. You know, it used to be only the biggest brands that could tell the most captivating stories, but now it's different. Generative AI is leveling that playing field as well. So that's my hot take. What's your hot take on storytelling? I want to know. All right, Kate, I got you. Douglas, I got you with the PDF. Yeah, so if you want the PDF, like you'll see on this, it's even great on your phone. You'll just click that listen button and it'll go straight. It'll go straight to the that show. All right, so it's going to make it easy for you to find. All right, next, HR, human resources. What's your hot take with AI and HR, y'all? What do you think? Should all HR be robots? All right, here we go. So my favorite episode, again, a very recent one. Jen Kirkwood from IBM. She was amazing. Her insights and, her being in, working at enterprise companies and in IT and HR for nearly 30 years. She is one of the leading advocates of AI at IBM. And for her to come and share the insights on HR was amazing. So one quote from her, she said, AI can help managers with employee transfers. So she's talking about how small to medium-sized businesses can use AI in HR. So here's what she said. AI can help managers with employee transfers. AI can also be used heavily with recruiters to get them out of their transactional activities and help to not only source the candidates, but also move the candidates through the process. You know what? I always do a little bit of research before I talk to people, and I researched this one a little bit. And Jen blew my mind with her takes on AI and HR. All right. What's your guys' take? Yeah, Nadia said she loves the HR one. Same. This was a great episode. So here's my hot take. AI will decentralize HR and a hybrid model will rise. Here's what I mean by that. I think for so many small and medium-sized businesses that have their own HR department, I don't think that's the future. I think decentralized HR departments that are AI heavy, that is the future of human resources. Why? Well, because don't get me wrong, there's great human resources departments, but I think, and probably a lot of people can probably attest to this, sometimes HR departments are extremely problematic, right? And I think even kind of what Jen was getting to, there's some of those transactional things that humans maybe don't need to be involved in very much at all. So I think AI will decentralize HR. What do y'all think? Let me know. Again, just type in PDF. I'll send it to you. All right, here we go. And as a reminder, if you're joining on the podcast, check the show notes. You can come back and watch this whole thing and participate in the conversation as well here on LinkedIn. We always link back to it. Ethics. All right. So Katharina Coroner came on and talked about ethics. This was great. Again, another recent episode. Again, maybe I have recency bias. It's a thing. But Katharina delivered some amazing quality on ethics. And it's such an important topic to talk about. So here's what Katharina said on how to make AI models fully transparent. She said, you have to build privacy in the whole architecture from the design phase on. So now we have to focus on responsible AI design. I think with a lot of models that will have already been built, you will probably not achieve full transparency and explainability. Also, I will go back after the show's done, and I will also leave links to all of the newsletters for all of these shows, right? Because in the newsletters every day, the guests drop a lot of knowledge. Today, not so much. Today's just me ranting and talking and celebrating with you all. But make sure to check out if you like the podcast, if you like the live stream, if you like the guest of the day, make sure to read the newsletter because a lot of times we share resources from the guests, maybe that they don't share with other people. We dive in deeper. We share other projects or other topics that they've worked on. So Katharina, same thing. All right, so here's my hot take.
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
Most companies care way more about profit than ethical HR. Or than ethical AI, I'm sorry. Way more. Kate says she loved her take. I agree. Doug, you are here. Doug says ethics is huge. Absolutely. That's my hot take. You know, we always talk about, hey, AI is great because it's going to create Millions of jobs. Will it? Absolutely. But in the end, especially for public companies, AI is going to be disruptive to the economy and the job market. Because I'm going to quote someone else that said this in the comments a couple months ago. Trevor said, Wall Street hates employees, right? So when you see generative AI come, and once big companies figure it out, and they say, oh, I can replace 100,000 jobs, and I can, maybe I'll create 10,000 out of that. But do you think public companies are going to care more about ethics than profit? Do you think they might say, hey, we can cut 100,000 jobs, refill it with 10,000 new AI jobs? But if productivity goes up and if they can't expand their line of business, I don't think they're going to care. The future of generative AI is both equally exciting and it is a little troublesome, if I'm being honest. I know we don't like to talk about that on the show. Again, I'm coming with the hot takes, y'all. Might make some of us uncomfortable, but that's okay because that's where growth comes. If you want to grow, you need to be learning generative AI one way or the other, right? So sometimes you have to feel a little uncomfortable about the prospects of generative AI in your industry. Y'all feel me on that? Right? Nadia, thank you. Nadia said I would balancing efficiency with innovation. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be large companies that do balance it, but so many when it comes to ethics, so many companies care way more, especially public companies. I think a lot of them care way more about profit than ethics. Not all, but so many. All right. So type in PDF. I'll send it to you. Healthcare. Oh my gosh. So many good healthcare episodes. Nadia came on. I got to give shout outs to other people. Nadia, Ryan Martin, but I think probably my favorite was Dr. Harvey Castro. Again, this was so hard to choose. Don't hate me, people. I will link Nadia's too because Nadia's was great. But Dr. Harvey Castro said, I see a future. So talking about the future of healthcare, he said, I see a future where I wake up in the middle of the night and let's say I'm having symptoms. I'm having a conversation with the GPT equivalent backed by a doctor. And then all of a sudden, telemedicine pops up and says, okay, I'm your doctor. I'm here at the ER that's close to your house. So this was a fascinating episode with Dr. Harvey Castro. Again, we'll have it linked. Make sure you go listen to that. So here's my hot take. Healthcare is one of the few sectors that has adopted and embraced AI so far. If I'm being honest, I think healthcare, financial, and then obviously any tech companies have. But so many sectors, categories, niches, verticals have shunned generative AI. So my hot take is, hey, even if you're a student and you're passionate about AI or you're looking for a career change and you're not sure what field, I'd look at medical. I'd look at healthcare. Because of the sheer promise, right? And we share this on the news and in the newsletter all the time. AI-powered innovations, being able to treat diseases, being able to help people who can walk, right? AI that can help people walk again, that can help people learn and reason that weren't able to do it before. It is inspiring to see the ways that the healthcare sector is using AI. All right, again, let me know. PDF, just type in the word PDF. I'll send this to you, all right? Marketing. All right, this was an amazing episode. Mark DeGrasse is the president of digitalmarketer.com. I'd say whether you're in marketing, communications, branding, I don't care. In the end, so much of what everyone does, it's marketing and sales. I think this is a must listen to just about anyone. To people in the comments, did any of you guys listen to this episode? What were your thoughts? I'm curious. So here's what Mark said on how to start using AI in marketing. And he gave the example of ChatGPT here. So he said, if you just want to go into AI and know how, all you do is have a ChatGPT window up instead of using Google for your next search. You'll find that you're wasting less time. Then you'll start to learn how to use it to make money. Yeah, I love this example from Mark. because this is something we've been talking about on the show and in the newsletter since the day we started. Replace your Google search or your Bing search, your Ask Jeeves, whatever search engine you're using, replace it with a generative AI. So, companies like Microsoft, like Google, they are offering, their kind of more generative AI search. Or, so use something like that because that's the future. Or like Mark said, and like what I do, start searching in ChatGPT with plugins. My gosh, I have a hot take coming up on plugins, but it's fantastic. So my hot take, and this is someone that I've worked in marketing and different, communication roles in and out for 20 years. The hot take here, marketing roles will conglomerate in mass. What does that mean? I think marketing jobs are going to start to shrink, if I'm being honest. But what's going to happen is you will be a generative AI user, essentially. Big teams used to have, dedicated photographers, dedicated photo retouchers, dedicated videographers, right? And all these things, dedicated UI, UX, or, dedicated UI, dedicated UX, dedicated social media strategy, right? You had sometimes, whether it's at internal companies or, using agencies, there would be dozens or hundreds of highly specialized roles. I think those roles are going to conglomerate. So you are going to, if you're in marketing, especially if you're a student or if you're looking to grow your skill set, learn new skills. The amount of people who can specialize in one very specific thing is going to go down. Y'all, I've worked, other companies have white labeled my company, Accelerant Agency. I've worked on huge marketing projects with Nike and Jordan Brand. I've worked with probably 15 of the largest marketing and creative agencies in the country, through my, 6 or 7 years that I was working almost exclusively with Jordan and Nike brand as part of a nonprofit. But all of those highly specialized roles, they're going to change. They're all going to change. What Doug says, always be learning. Always be learning. All right. And Brian here. Brian, thank you for joining us. Brian, I can't believe you've listened to almost 100 shows, right? You said. Has anyone else? If you're joining now, maybe you joined late. This is our 100th episode. We're celebrating it. How many episodes have you listened to? I'm always just curious. Is this your first one, or have you listened to nearly 100? But Brian said he totally agrees with Mark's statement. Use it for search. Absolutely. All right, we're going to keep going. This is a long episode again. I'm going to have all these in a PDF. Just type in PDF. I'll send it to you so you can just click the little listen button and you can go listen to that episode. All right. Startups. This was a great episode. This was a great episode. Xiaoqin Zhang joined us on how startups can adapt to AI innovation. All right. So his quote here, and again, this is a great episode. He said, the number one challenge for a startup is to stay focused. No matter how big the hype, there will always be emerging AI technology. You have to look at the nature of your solution and also the market fit and decide how to implement AI. Wow. This episode. What do you guys think? AI and startups. Here's my hot take. There will be an AI startup bubble bursting soon. Yeah. I'm not saying it's like the housing bubble in 2008. That's not what I'm saying. But I think for a period, I'm going to say from early 2021 until kind of recently, I think venture capitalist, private equity groups, they overemphasized generative AI and their investments into these companies. And a lot of times, here's the hot takes. I think a lot of times, private equity groups, venture capitalist groups, didn't fully understand generative AI, if I'm being honest. They just saw big companies like OpenAI make a tremendous splash. And everyone said, I want a piece of that. And then when you get a group of people, in the room, it's like, oh, X Google, X Meta, X Snapchat, put them together on a team. People are like, sure, here's $50 million. Go create something, right? And I know a lot of VC firms and private equity firms and angel investors knew the inherent risk in that and knew that they were taking big gambles. But I think there will be a AI startup bubble bursting soon. You've already seen, some of these, quote unquote unicorn AI startups that raised or had a valuation of more than $1 billion already go through massive rounds of layoffs. That's the hot take. What do you guys think? I know we got some startup fans in the house. What do y'all think? Get your comments. Who survives? Mike asks. Great example, Mike. I say the startups who survived. This is going to sound like ironic or meta, not the company. But I'm going to say the companies that survived are companies that ran lean with their fundraising, and they, maybe they raised a $50 million round and they didn't go hire 100 employees. I'm going to say it's the companies that ran lean, the companies that invested in their own technology, in their own infrastructure, in their own generative AI usage, right? That's the biggest thing. One of the biggest expenses for startups, and my company, Accelerant Agency, has worked with a lot of startups. One of the biggest companies is developers, right? So the companies that I think the startup companies that are going to last the longest are ones that are already using generative AI tools, such as, Copilot from GitHub. So you have these different, Code Llama now from Meta. So it's those companies that are using generative AI developer and coding tools. I think those are the ones, Mike, that are going to survive. Mike says, I'm tired of startups asking me to work for free for equity. Same. But maybe I will. Who knows? Sure. Reach out to me. Hey, do you have an AI startup? Do you need an advisor? Talk to me. Actually, people don't know this. I don't even think I've shared this on the show before. I have another LLC, Accelerant Ventures. And one of the main goals was to keep companies, to keep startups from making these mistakes. And also to help VC firms and private equity groups make wiser decisions in investing in young startups. We've worked with a lot. We've helped really grow a lot of startups as well. So, little tidbit. I said we're going behind the scenes today, y'all, and I didn't lie about that. And this is a long episode. Here we go. Mike says, great answer. Thank you, Mike. The future of AI. Thank you for sticking with us, y'all. This is a longer episode. I knew it might have been. But what's your hot take on the future of AI? What's your hot take? Where are we going? Where are we going? All right, so, oh man. Brian, you're right. Brian with a comment. Episode 84, Father and Son. That was a great one. It was literally painstaking. And I couldn't decide. And I'm like, what did I do to myself? How could I exclude so many amazing episodes? But here's one that I thought was fantastic. So using AI for growth, how it's done with Corey Warfield. Corey Warfield, if you're on LinkedIn or Twitter, he's really a presence, I'll say, in the AI space. And he's been in the AI space for a long time. Super, super smart guy. But here is what Corey said on how to train AI. And, we're talking about the future here. So what he said is learn how to prompt AI. And it's that easy. It's this easy. If you were to hire a new employee or an assistant, you would train them first. You wouldn't start telling them what to do without training them and giving them some context. Do that for your AI. I was so happy when Corey said this, actually, because this is what we teach people in the Prime Prompt Polish course, our free PPP course. And when he said that, and if anyone's taken the course, let me know. Does this sound familiar, y'all? This is what I teach you. This is what I teach people in our free PPP course. We got one tomorrow. We got one Friday. We're going to get them regularly scheduled, actually. Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting, I think, next week or the week after, consistently. 2 free courses every single week. If you want access, type in PPP. But let's work backwards. Yes, this was great advice from Corey on how to kind of train AI. But yeah, Brian says it sounds like PPP. It was just great advice, right? So my hot take on the future of generative AI, which we talked about a lot more in that episode. It wasn't just training AI models, but I'm saying not using generative AI is one of the most dangerous things, one of the most dangerous company decisions a business can make in 2023. Oh, but Jordan, we have proprietary information. Oh, but Jordan, we have confidential information. That's okay. Don't upload that. Don't upload that information to confidential models. But I guarantee you, especially if you're a big company, right? Obviously, ChatGPT for Enterprise was released. Copilot 365 is being released soon. So if you're not already looking into generative AI at this point and you're at a small, medium, or large company, I'm sorry. Things are not looking great for your future. Because those companies that have already been using it for months or a year plus, when they start using, as an example, ChatGPT for Enterprise, or when they start using Microsoft Copilot, I can't wait to talk more about Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. They're going to pass you. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you're an 8-figure company, 9-figure company. If you aren't touching generative AI, and you're a decision maker in that company, and you're still refusing to do so, you're going to get passed. Period. Corey said in the episode he gives even big companies 18 months. This was like 3 months ago. So you have a little more than a year to get your generative AI plan together. It's the future of work. I'm sorry. Look at the biggest companies in the world. They're all investing billions of dollars into generative AI. Every single company. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, IBM, all of them. They've all said the future of work is generative AI. This is like 20 years ago. If you were to say, internet, not for me. Internet, not for my business. You are setting yourself up for failure. If you're looking at the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to see this. I am staring into the camera and begging you, if you're a decision maker in any company and you haven't started to use generative AI yet, you are going to quickly get passed by your competitors, bigger than you or smaller than you. They're going to gobble up your business, period. You cannot fight against generative AI. There's no such thing. And if you're not sure, share this episode and you'll be entered into the contest. And I'll send that to you, right? And we'll sit down with you. Again, I've sucked in knowledge from some of the smartest people and smartest companies by having them on my show. We have resources that can help you grow. All right. Yes. Brian says, amazing how many people are digging their heads into the sand. I agree. Here we go. We're almost done, but not really. Big tech. Oh, this is my favorite one, probably. This was my episode. So Microsoft Copilot is going to shake the economy. Here's why. Oh, man. And if you listen to this episode, I'm kind of actually sorry. My mic wasn't working that day. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. My mic wasn't working for what was one of my favorite episodes. So this is weird. This is Inception. I'm reading a quote from myself. But I said, the digital strategist in me sees Microsoft Copilot and is extremely excited because businesses will be able to grow like never before. But the AI future thinker in me knows that this type of generative AI advancement could have shockingly large economic and societal impacts that we don't know yet. That's the part that it's hard to talk about, right? Because I see, I shared my background, y'all. I've worked in small, medium, big companies. A lot of my background was working on large partnerships programs with, Nike, Jordan Brand, and some of the largest creative and marketing agencies in the world. And I see a lot of companies still not embracing generative AI. And Microsoft Copilot 365 is exciting for me because think right now with generative AI, you have to go out of your way to make it work for you. You have to log into ChatGPT or log into Google Bard or log into, or start running, open source models from, Meta, Code Llama, whatever. You have to log on to Midjourney. Sometimes you have to install programs. You have to go out of your way right now to really use and take advantage of generative AI. Microsoft Copilot is going to change that. It is generative AI on your desktop that follows you everywhere in a good way, right? Your Outlook email, there's a long thread that you just got added to with hundreds of messages, all of these documents. Maybe someone's bringing you in on a project that might have taken you dozens of hours, hundreds of hours. If you're getting onboarded on a new project, now you can just ask Copilot, hey, summarize this. Make me a PowerPoint on the main items from this email and all of the attachments. I've been trying to study this as much as I can. I don't have access to it yet. I know other people that do. I don't even know if the world is even ready for what Microsoft Copilot means, and who knows what Apple is going to release, what their Ajax or Apple GPT model really is, what it's going to be. I have huge expectations for it. But even with Microsoft Copilot, it's going to change how we work. And I don't know the societal impacts it'll have. There's a lot of positives, but a lot of things that companies in industries just need to be aware of. It's going to change how we work. It's going to change how we work. Yes. And this comment saying it is probably the first experience 99% of people will have in their workflow with generative AI. This is mind-blowing. That's the other thing. All of us here, this community of AI enthusiasts, we are still early adopters. The 100 million people that started using ChatGPT within the first couple of weeks and broke every record ever, still early adopters, right? But so much of business is done on Windows, on PCs, right? There's so many, even big companies that haven't dipped their toe into generative AI. And then when they get access to Copilot in their operating system, y'all, if you think ChatGPT created a wave comparatively to what Microsoft Copilot is going to be, it won't even be a ripple. Y'all, I'm not paid by Microsoft to say that. It won't even be a ripple. This, I am both at a loss for words and have too many words running through my mind, but I don't want to spend too much time, but my hot take, you can probably already guess it. It'll be much more. Microsoft 365 Copilot will be much more impactful than ChatGPT and probably all of the other generative AI tools combined, just because of the reach and the customer base. This will be the first experience with generative AI that so many people have. I got to say thanks. Still, so many of you are still, yes, tidal wave. So many of you are still tuned in. Normally we keep these shows, if it is your first time, normally these are, 20 minutes, maybe 25. So we're going long today, but I knew we would. Education. Here's a great one. I could have had so many different people, but Kelsey Beringer from Packback, sorry, kind of an AI education-based company. Great interview. So she said on the role of AI in education, she said, I think one of the most misguided reactions we could have to generative AI is banning. We can't just see a new technology and say it doesn't have a place in the classroom. What do you guys think on generative AI in the classroom in universities, in the American education system? What do you think? What is its role? Are you excited about it? Is it bad? Is it good? What do you guys think? I'm curious. I want to hear from you. Here's what I think. Here's my hot take. Sorry, y'all. The American higher education system has already failed us in regards to generative AI. Already. Sorry. Maybe I'm going to offend some people in the education system. The fact that there is even a debate about using generative AI in the classroom is mind-boggling to me. That just shows me how ill-prepared the education system is on dealing with generative AI. All colleges and universities across the country should have 5 to 10, if not more, generative AI courses. Generative AI education should be a prerequisite to any other course that you take in college. Period. No excuse. And colleges and universities aren't prepared that. You know how you have to take intro to college and you have to take, communication 101 and, there's all these required. Generative AI, multiple courses should be a requirement. Here's why. I'm not that old. I mean, I kind of am. What am I, 37 now? I remember when I was in college in 2005, 2006, we had a couple classes. The internet had already been around for decades, obviously, but we did have a class or two that kind of said, all right, well, hey, this new thing, Google, here's a way or two you can use it, right? But again, as a society, we were afforded decades of time to get caught up with the web, to get caught up with social media. Generative AI, we don't have that luxury. We are already behind. The higher education system has already failed us. Period. It has. Because one of the biggest demands for jobs are people who can work with AI. And so few colleges and universities are even teaching it, let alone have programs. There are, yes. Don't get me wrong, there's colleges and universities that have had AI programs for decades, but it's such a small percentage. And no one is teaching basic Gen AI education. And it's bad. Yes, Woozy says, teach it and let them use it fully. Brian, teach them how to use it responsibly early on. Yes. Bronwyn letting us know it's not just the US. She said South Africa needs to wake up to reality as well. I don't think a lot of countries are prepared, but there's countries way more prepared than the US. All right, again, if you're joining us late, just type in PDF. I'll send you this PDF so you can go listen to all these episodes. All right. We're nearing the end. This is breaking all records for longest episode ever. I also kind of want to apologize to people for that. This is a long one. This is a rant. All right. So for this one, for business development, I didn't want to choose too many of mine, but this one by far is our most popular episode in terms of downloads, traffic to the website, everything like that. Because this is what people are always asking. Jordan, what plugin should I use for ChatGPT? So I had a dedicated episode talking about the best ChatGPT plugins and how they'll change your business. All right, here's the quote from that episode. Companies saw this giant ChatGPT wave and they tried to ride it because everyone else was, but they weren't prepared. They weren't actual surfers. So many businesses or individuals trying to use this technology early on crashed because they didn't know how to surf the wave. Does that make sense? I think so many companies dipped their toe because they saw this AI wave. They dipped their toe in early on. And they just tried copy and paste prompting that they see on the internet. And they say, oh, nope, generative AI is not for our company because look at this output. It's garbage. It's because you don't know what you're doing. You don't. People, I threw up that quote earlier in the show, from someone who took our free Prime Prompt Polish course. The reason why we keep it free is because it is a necessary skill to learn how to use large language models. And the overwhelming majority of information on the internet is bad. It is incorrect and it is wrong because people are just trying to, build an audience or to sell you something. Y'all, if you've taken the PPB course, can someone back me up on this? Can someone back me up on this? Because to me, it's wild. It's wild how wrong most people are with large language models. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. But most people have no clue how to use them. Again, we've been using the GPT technology since it was publicly available or commercially available in 2020. So when ChatGPT came out in November 2022, and you have all these, social media influencers trying to tell people how to use it, I'm like, no, that's absolutely wrong. That's like someone, trying to teach you how to play basketball and say you kick the ball through the net. No, just because you're a soccer player doesn't mean you should kick a basketball. The overwhelming majority of information out there on large language models and ChatGPT is so wrong. Hot take. ChatGPT plugins will put 8 and 9-figure companies out of business. I said that right. That I didn't stutter. That's not a misprint. This is hot takes, y'all. Here's why. One thing that we, at Accelerant, we always teach our clients something about this leapfrog strategy, right? So let's, say plot all your competitors, and let's say you're a 6. So you're pretty big, but there's people bigger, right? So those people that are 4s and 5s, they're going to leapfrog you. They have you in their sights. And if they're using tools like ChatGPT with plugins, that 7-figure company using ChatGPT with plugins will take away that 8-figure company's business that isn't. I'd say right now, ChatGPT with plugins, until Microsoft Office Copilot, till Copilot is available to everyone, ChatGPT with plugins, the proper plugins, and knowing how to use them is the most powerful business development tool out there, bar none. I will argue with anyone on this. Here's why. Because for the average everyday person, ChatGPT with plugins is the most applicable, the most useful, and the most has the highest return on time investment of any other generative AI tool, or I think any other tool out there. I've showed this live on the show before, where we teach plugin packs. So it's combining, you can only have 3 plugins active. I do a task that I used to do manually that would take me or kind of my team dozens of hours. Stacking the correct plugins and knowing how to work with a large language model, you can do that in a couple of seconds. That's also what we're going to be helping people with if you repost this episode and if you win our giveaway. So again, as a reminder, share this already. You're going to get a 2-day head start. We're going to give it to you Wednesday. We're going to email it out to everyone else Friday. And it's a referral contest. So you want to get in early. We're only doing 10. And I'm guessing we're going to have hundreds of people. So get ahead now, repost this episode, and I'll send you the link probably within an hour of wrapping up this show. Whew. It was so hard to come up with just 10 episodes. And I feel bad. I feel bad because there's so many people. I even see people here in the comments, who are guests on the show. So thank you for coming. Thank you to everyone who showed up today. I'm going to try to see, it's going to be hard because it looks like hundreds of comments in here. I wanted to get to some of these hot takes. So if I didn't get to it, just go ahead and drop it again quick. But to quickly recap, type in PDF in the comments. I'll send you this so you can quickly go through this and listen to all these episodes if you want. Also, as a reminder, we're going to be introducing, I told y'all how the show has grown. And it's all because of you. And that's why we're doing this giveaway. It's going to cost, our team a lot of our time and resources, but I'm fine with that because this is a gift to say thank you, to all of you, who send me, DMs, who send me emails, who tell their friends about everyday AI. Thank you, and please, I encourage you to do it again. So even if you're listening on the podcast, maybe interacting on social media isn't your thing, send the podcast to someone else. Subscribe to the show, please. Give us a rating. Tell someone about it. Again, I think that it is so hard for the everyday person, the average person, to learn generative AI. And I think we have created a great community here, all thanks to you, to help make it easier for all of us to learn. Like I said, there's people in the comments now that are working together on projects, that are meeting through everyday AI to build things together, which is amazing. So let's see if I can see a couple of these right answers only. It's going to be hard here because there's a lot of comments. Brian said, I love the newsletter. Thank you, Brian. So again, make sure you go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for the free daily newsletter. Bronwyn said she reads the newsletter every day. Sarah said her son saw the newsletter and insists now I forward it to him. That's awesome. Please do. You aren't too young or too old or too technical or not technical enough to benefit from our newsletter, because it is for the everyday person. AB says, my daily source for AI news. Thank you. Aman says, newsletters are the best. Thank you. I want to get to some of these questions. Let me see. Here we go. Jackie, my question, and these are right answers only, not meant to offend anyone, just not going to be politically correct. I'm going to give you what I think is the right answer, straight to the chase. Okay, her question, how do you curate all your news and info? AI tool. Our actual newsletter content is written by 90% humans, myself and one other person. We do use a ChatGPT plugin pack to help us essentially go through all the fluff of all the different news. So I take probably 5 different links, different AI news aggregators. I use ChatGPT to give me quick summaries. I read through all those, maybe 30 to 50 summaries a day, and then I choose what we share in the newsletter. So yeah, mostly written by all of us, by humans, but we do use AI tools to help us keep up, because it's so hard to keep up with the news. I tell people you can spend 20 hours a week trying to keep up with AI news and happenings and how to use it, or give us 20 minutes a day. I know today's and not like that. All right, let me see. What other questions do we have? What questions? Get them in. Michael says, congrats on the show. Great work. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, Nadia's episode on healthcare was amazing. Doug, did you join us from YouTube and LinkedIn? Says happy 100th. Appreciate that, Doug. Harold says great community. As a reminder, if you're on the podcast, just go ahead. Join us once. Join us on the live stream. It's fun. Gerald says, thank you, or congrats on 100 episodes. Listen to both of them. Thank you, Gerald. Most, not both. All right, there we go. Jupiter, thank you for joining us. Here we go. I want to get to these questions. Sorry, y'all. There's a lot of comments to get through. I want to make sure that if you dropped a question, I get to it, because this is community. Dr. Rastafad, what's up, Dr. Rastafad? Says, you are so dope. Sorry, I've been MIA. 100 more episodes. Yeah, hopefully we can do 100 more episodes. All right, Kevin, got a question. What does the class of the future look like for our children? Good question. Right answers only. Not good. I'd say the average classroom educational systems are not going to adapt. And it's looking not good. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the average. There's going to be ones that use generative AI correctly, but I think for the most part, schools and universities are so scared and they're worried about students cheating. And, oh, did you just use ChatGPT for this paper? They just try to ban it. And like you saw from that quote from Kelsey, who was on the show, you don't ban generative AI. It's the wildest thing I've ever heard. But that's unfortunately what a majority of schools and colleges and universities are going to do. Great question, Kevin. Harold says the e-commerce episode is up there for him. Absolutely. That was a great episode. Let's see. What other questions do we have? I might have missed. Nadia says, remember Netflix versus Blockbuster. Yes. So it's kind of like that, but we didn't even get into like AI agents, Nadia, right? Because yes, AI will create millions of jobs, but there's also AI agents, which in theory, will make some of those jobs redundant or in theory not needed. All right, what else? Do we have any other questions? I'm sorry, y'all. I want to make sure that I get to any questions that we had. People are saying plugins. I got you. Nadia, your favorite ChatGPT plugin to connect to the internet. I'm a dork. I did a full rundown about a month ago of all 19 different ChatGPT plugins. I'm sure there's more at the time. I benchmarked them all on the 5 most important factors of what a ChatGPT plugin should have. The ability to query, so search the internet, the ability to visit a specific link that you tell it, the ability to read a PDF, the ability to watch a YouTube video, all these different things. And 2 of my favorite internet-connected plugins, which I go over in the plugins episode, are Browser Up and VoxScript. All right, let's see. We got a question. We got to this one. Who survives? We got to that one. Fantastic. Yep, Brian said episode 84. Absolutely. That was a great one. Wow. The amount of comments and support. Thank you all. I appreciate this. Yes, a tidal wave. Tidal wave is definitely coming. All right. Jeez, y'all. I appreciate the support. I didn't think it was going to be this hard to find your questions. Next time we'll have to give you like a dedicated hashtag or something. All right. Someone's suggesting to set up a everyday AI LinkedIn group, Discord channel. Hey, actually, for some of our most active people in the live, in the newsletter, I am going to be creating a private group for the most active people. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, but great suggestion. All right. I see 2 questions and I'll get to these and then we're going to wrap it up. So Woozy, when will we start seeing in-home intelligent robots regularly used in homes? Fantastic question. There's a lot of money going into this. Essentially now when you have, conversational AI that is good, you have the machinery that's good. So there's plenty of companies that are already have these offerings that have, kind of in-house robot assistants. The affordability piece is pretty big. I think because of the high cost of GPUs, companies have to pass, which are the chips used to train generative AI. Companies have to pass that cost on. So I still think it'll be a couple years, Woozy, but I do think it'll be common. We're all looking back at the Jetsons, right? Like when do we get our in-home robot? When do we get our flying cars? But yeah, I see in-home kind of robot assistants becoming a trend, but probably not for at least 2 or 3 more years, maybe longer because of the cost. Great question. Case, shout out Case. What's up, Case? Saying congrats on the milestone. All right, here we have the last question, and I'm going to wrap it after this because this has been a long enough episode. So how, Zach, what's up, Zach? Asking, how do you find the happy medium between kids actually learning versus just pasting things from ChatGPT? Here's how you find the happy medium. You encourage them to use ChatGPT for everything. They should be copying and pasting things into their homework assignments or their projects or whatever. But with the understanding and having that open dialogue between the professor and the student. So here's an example of what I said. If I was teaching a class, we would have probably a 5-page paper due every single day on a certain topic. And my students would have to use Gen AI tools to put it together. And we'd probably do that in the first half of the class. And then the second half of the class, we would be doing proofreading, presentations, finding errors, improving workflows. In my opinion, that's the future of work. So yeah, I wouldn't, and Kelsey in her episode from Packback had some great suggestions around that. I see the future of education for those colleges and universities that do it right are much more presentation based, are much more higher volume. I don't think it's not wise anymore to just do, 1 or 2 tests and, 2 big papers. That's not the future of learning. We are able to access information faster than ever before. Before we were walking, now we are in a rocket ship. So the way that we should be learning and practicing learning and education should be reflective of how fast and how much more accessible correct information is, but we should be teaching students and everyone how to use it and how to do it. That's all, y'all. I'm gonna do something fun. I'm gonna do something fun for those of you that still stuck around this long. And if you're still listening on the podcast, I didn't think I'd go an hour 13, but I always want to reward people. Just text me the word coffee, or shoot me a DM and email. I'm going to do something special for you. I don't even know what yet, but if you literally missed it, if you listen to this until the very end, just send me a DM or an email that says coffee. All right. But as a reminder, thank you all for joining. As a reminder, please repost this if you want early access to this giveaway. We're going to be doing 10 generative AI implementation sessions with companies. So whether you're a big company, small company, doesn't matter. Repost this. I'm going to give you early access to the giveaway so you can get a head start on everyone else. So we're going to be giving that out to everyone else on Friday, so you can get a huge head start. So as a reminder, y'all, thank you. Please go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for that free daily newsletter. And I hope to see you back tomorrow and every day on Everyday AI. And thank you so much for helping us make 100 episodes possible. And I hope we can deliver you 100 more. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.